Annie Dillard, born on April 30th, 1945, is an American novelist who is best known for her narrative style in both fiction and nonfiction. Dillard's nonconformist parents taught her and her sisters how to be creative thinkers and adventurers. As a little girl, she was inspired to be self-determining, to tell stories, and to read books. Like many teenagers, Dillard was known through high school stages as a bit of troubler. She smoked and even stopped attending the Presbyterian church she has belonged to ever since she was a child. However, around the same time, she fell in love with poetry, particularly Ralph Waldo's poetry. After high school, she attended Hollins College, which is an all-girls college in Roanoke, Virginia, where she studied literature, creative writing, and religion. For the next couple of years, she painted, wrote poetry, read extensively, and kept an extensive diary of her observations and thoughts. Dillard turned those journals into Pilgrim at Tinker Creek, keeping herself really busy in order to finish the manuscript. Over the last 30 years, Dillard has published 8 additional books, including a novel, 2 collections of poetry, and several non-fiction works.
One of the major center points of Dillard's writing focuses on epiphanies. An epiphany is a sudden discovery that opens one's eyes to truly see their reality. From a theological perspective, epiphany is when a person gains a concrete understanding of their faith through an occurrence they believe was created by God. An epiphany involves both seeing things from a new, transcendental perspective and being tremendously shocked or taken aback by this new perspective. Considering nature is the easiest and best way to achieve this. We can exemplify this by reconsidering a tree that one may pass by apathetically each day. If one looks this tree while they are feeling particularly reflective, they may realize that each of its branches are uniquely beautiful and grow in different directions in different ways, seemingly with a mind of their own. They hold hundreds and hundreds of equally unique leaves, each of which absorbs sunlight along with the air that we breathe. On top of that, all this sprung from the ground because of a tiny seed. All of us have a similar experience, and in the midst of such an experience, it is impossible not to ask why such incredible things exist and how they originally came to be. The pondering of this question inevitably leads to the spiritual, and it is in the mindset that Annie Dillard writes most of her work.
Dillard describes epiphany as a process of coming awake in one of her books, An American Childhood. In her works, she constantly finds explanations of the divine through epiphanies in nature. Quote, "My God, I look at the creek. It is the answer to Merton's prayer. Give us time. It never stops. If I seek the senses and skill of children, the information of 1,000 books, the innocence of puppies, even insights of my own city past, I do so only, solely, and entirely, that I might look well at the creek. You don't run down the present, pursue it with baited hooks and nets. You wait for it, empty-handed, and you are filled. You'll have fish left over." Here, Dillard's astounded amazement leads to her contemplation of time and the internal she relates to the Bible story of Jesus feeding 5,000 with bread and fish. This quote is exemplary of much of Dillard's writing. These writings relate quite well to ideas and concepts we have covered in class. The idea of epiphany is strongly connected to Brackley's idea of falling off a horse to have a sudden revelation. This is clearly an alternate interpretation of an epiphany and could easily be called as such. Furthermore, Annie Dillard's ideas relate to Richard Rohr's central concept of third eye seeing. Dillard's writing is free of judgment, which is conducive to Rohr's idea of non-dualism.